welcome back to Cinema Scrutiny. I'm your host, Billy, as always. John couldn't be here with us this week, but if you guys have been following the channel, a couple weeks ago, he did his own solo video talking about Star Trek and how much he loves that show, and he wanted to sell it to you guys, the audience, um, as he is such a big Star Trek fan. But since he's not here this week, I figured I'd step forward and make my own solo video about a show that I recently finished and found myself enjoying, Euphoria. Now, you guys have probably heard of the show. It is on HBO Max, or HBO proper, and it's been pretty popular. I think it has like a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes. Pretty highly uh, talked about as far as critics and audience, alike. But I haven't had HBO Max until the beginning of this year, and I've had Euphoria on my list this whole time, and I finally got around to watching it, as I've slowly been digging into my list. But Euphoria, um, I was so mesmerized by the trailer when it first came out. I was like, this is such a trippy thing, and the cover poster is kind of Zendaya crying with this like starry makeup to her, and it is very much like a trip of a poster in a way. And I never really thought the show would dive so deep into actual drug addiction and the kind of conversations that she would have after watching the show. Um, I think it was brilliantly marketed, actually, now after finishing the show. But yeah, I guess just jumping into it, like the show was a lot, man. It was a lot. I found myself thinking the entire time, like, I can't believe this group of high schoolers are going through all of these things. Like, it seems so intense, and it is in a lot of ways. But um, nonetheless, I found myself to keep going because I think all of the characters are really compelling. I think all of their stories are unique, and they're all kind of on their own path of sort of trauma, I guess you could say. Everybody's going through trauma in this show, whether it be big or small, but trauma nonetheless, I guess. Um, Starting with Zendaya, I guess. She is the lead character, and she definitely carries the show. I think she is the most interesting character. She is a recovering addict. She pops pills and all these other drugs, and um, at the beginning of the show, she's coming back from an overdose. Um, and throughout this first season, it is her struggle with sobriety. And I won't get too spoiler heavy because I want you guys to go watch it, and I don't really want to spoil the entire series or anything. But it's just crazy, man. Like, I think the showrunners did a great job of capturing this entire show, specifically Zendaya's character, in the sense that the cinematography, the lighting, the sound, everything about what we're seeing and hearing around her really reflects um, the experience that she's going through. Whether it be if she's on drugs, it really feels like you're on a drug with her, on a high, a euphoric high, if you will. Um, and you get to see her happiness while she is high, which is it's a beautiful thing, but it's a terribly sad thing at the same time. It's a swirl of emotions, which really reflects the show. Now that being said, when she's sober, we see the same exact thing, but we see her anxiety and her sadness, her franticness to chase happiness, and that is something her character really, really struggles with throughout the entire show. Um, and it becomes a show about her finding her happiness and a new outlet away from drugs, and it kind of becomes a romantic twist, which I was pretty happy with. I think it turned out in a great way, I think, and I was really entertained, honestly. Um, some some of the other characters here, I think, the main antagonist, I believe his name is Nate. He's the high school jock. This guy is a little bit ridiculous, I have to say. He's a bit of a maniac. Um, I, I can't believe this gives me it gave me big like Riverdale vibes. Like it's totally unrealistic, but it's entertaining nonetheless. So I'm here for the ride, you know. And there's so many other great aspects about the show that are keeping me hooked. That you know, every time I saw this guy, he's a great villain because every time he was on screen and doing what he was doing, I was like, this guy sucks. I hate him, but you know, he does complement the story, I guess. So I'm here for it. I'm here for the ride. As crazy as that sounds. But other characters here, we have Jules, who is the most prominent supporting character, who is also, even though they don't talk about it much, she's a transgender character, which is big, because I feel like the transgender community definitely doesn't get a lot of representation. And it was cool to see, even though it wasn't really mentioned that much. And I think it was only mentioned once, actually. I actually had to look up before recording this just to confirm that she is. Um, but nevertheless, good to see, you know, and a great character. She also suffers from trauma, and not only from her transitioning, but her struggles of being a new kid in town. Um, Finding love is a big problem, you know, that she faces. Um, and we see her get entwined in a friendship with Zendaya's character Rue. Um, and that entire arc, that entire story right there, is enough to keep you hooked in this show. All the other supporting characters are cool in their own way, but to be honest with you, Rue and Jules' relationship and the turmoils that they go through are really what carries this show, and puts it over the top. And I can totally see why people enjoyed it. Um, it is very dramatic. It is very intense at times. And at times, I feel you may think to yourself, this is way too over the top. This is way too unrealistic for me. Um, but for me, I was just, I was invested, man. I really, I can't believe I've, I don't think I've ever seen something before or watched a show before where I was thinking to myself this so much, and coming out at the end, I was like, I actually like that, you know? And like I said, I think it comes back to the cinematography of the show and, you know, the lighting and the sound. The way it reflects these characters, and not just Zendaya's character, but Jules as well. And even Nate, you know, when Nate's on screen, he's the sinister guy, and I think he gets that kind of same treatment with the cinematography and the lighting. Um, Same you could say with oh, I can't remember her name. Catherine's character. She also gets this kind of like warm lighting to her character. She's like this big sexualized character, but that's what she's trying to be. She's breaking into her sexuality, you know. And so she gets these kind of like sexy lighting scenes and all this, and it really everyone's character is reflected really well through the whole set design, the production design, and all that, which, you know, I guess as they should be. But I think it's taken to a like a next level with the show that I was really impressed with while watching. Maybe it's just something I catch as a film major, a filmmaking guy, but I was just really impressed with it. Um, but I guess at the end of the day, I would say I'd probably rate the show like an 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. Like, you know, it's gripping. To be honest with you, it's very very interesting. Not perfect by any means, but definitely something worth checking out. I believe it's only 8 episodes. They're each an hour long. Um, Not too bad. Um, but you know, I think it reinforces this thing for, you know, we talk a lot about streaming services on here, but I think this definitely reinforces the strength of HBO Max, and what they're offering, because I don't think there's another show like this out there right now on any streaming services. Um, I think this is the most diverse cast I've ever seen on any streaming service or any TV show out right now. And I'm talking about um, just different races of characters, different sexualities of characters, genders. You know, that there's nothing out there right now like this that's showing this kind of representation, which is a great thing to see. truly, because it's a big discussion right now in the entertainment industry. Um, and you know, that's not like the biggest, the greatest thing about this show, but it's something that is really great about this show. Um, and genuinely, I can say the story is very interesting and it's very powerful, I think. And mainly around Zendaya's character, but it is a really powerful story. And I am interested for a season two to see where it goes and see where they take it, um, and what kind of more chaos can be twisted into this dramatic series. It really is dramatic, but um, yeah, a little bit of a short video this week, but I just wanted to put this out to you guys, and see what you guys think. Have you guys seen Euphoria? What did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you even finish it? I could see some people maybe not finishing it if it's not their cup of tea. But yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. Next week, hopefully, John and I will get back together. We'll do a bigger video. Um, Maybe we'll review Tenet. I just saw that the other day. That would be something I definitely want to talk about on the channel. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in this week to Cinema Scrutiny. Quick little video here for you. But yeah, thank you, and like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, talk to you soon.